Welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 between BBZ and Fat Pikachu. Rayadam and Erebus on the call once again after BBZ provided us with quite a journey in game number 1. We're into draft for game number 2. How'd you feel about that game 1, Erebus?
A lot of back and forth. I think any team could have technically won it after the mid-game. Overall, BBZ executed properly a bit more, and their macro is a lot better, so we'll see if Fat Pikachu adjusts, shakes off some of the rust, tailors their bans a little bit more towards maybe getting rid of Jax. I don't like Jax. Jax was strong.
Very much on the cards as well, but a game absolutely wild from start to finish. You know, the throw back and forth in terms of leads and everything just sort of adds to the equation that these two teams are a lot closer than I think maybe was expected. And that's where I want to bring this in, because now coming into game number 2, you'll note that Oatmeal 1234 is out and Jakunk is back in, and Jakunk has been a major focal point for the side of Fat Pikachu this entire season.
Interesting. You know, I haven't cast a ton of Fat Pikachu games, but I have seen Jakunk pop off a few times. So, you know what? Maybe that's the missing ingredient. Oatmeal definitely played pretty well last game, but maybe the comms and the synergy will be a little better with the main roster put in.
Yes, and of course, with this first pick, Maokai coming through, wow, I am absolutely baffled and shocked the trio was picked first. Are you surprised about this pick, Erebus? Can you tell I'm not surprised about this pick?
I think it's very brave to do something so egregiously new, you know, pushing the bounds of what we know in League of Legends by picking Maokai first for jungle. Honestly, I'm scared, you know. The innovation of this league knows no bounds sometimes.
Yeah, and especially with the answer of the Sejuani. Wow, we've never seen this matchup before, specifically not from Dax and Kenny Train. It's not like these are probably their top 2 champions, Maokai and Sejuani, this season. But nonetheless, Blackpink Trash picking up that Zeri once again, looking to reproduce those results from last game and potentially just take out some of the other parts that are around it. That's a rat. They picked the rat. What is going on?
I have opinions, and I don't like that pick. Sivir is fine, I guess. They banned Sivir, which is probably a good call because that seemed obnoxious to deal with. Twitch is really good if you play Twitch. Sometimes. Twitch is good sometimes if you play Twitch. So we'll see how this goes. Sometimes there is a very good chance that they just pick a lot of parts CC and then you don't get to play the game.
I'm surprised the Alistar gets picked up right after by Raptor. Did their best to cosplay Rare Atom last game. Unfortunately took the wrong rune. They did go for the right build, so I will give Raptor a couple of extra points for that. But at the end of the day, I get to be the judge of Rakons in this league. That is my role. I don't care if anyone else has anything to say about it. I'm the Rakon. Nonetheless, all jokes aside that, we can sort of follow the lines as to where Fat Pikachu are going to focus the rest of those bans, because the Jax getting banned out, trying to prevent Jaffe from just being alone in isolation, scaling up into a menace in the later stages of the game.
I think they should just ban Nico. They didn't play around it very well. We'll see. Maybe they pick it. But I would prefer them to... Yone's fine. Fire Mana plays Yone, right? Like a good amount.
Oh, yes. Fire Mana is very well versed on the Yone. And something to note as well, this Riven ban might come out as a little bit of a surprise, but Jakunk did have a very strong performance on Riven mid when we saw it last against a Yone, in fact, as well. So interesting to see how they answered that back and forth. But Camille going to get picked up for Stormblast once again, once known as the Ornn One Trick, now starting to find their wings on the Camille here. And honestly, had a relatively good game overall.
Xerath, okay. Are we gonna go Jace top? Is that the move?
Oh no, it's Jaffe Fiora time. That is exactly what the doctor has prescribed. And no, Xerath getting a mini rework to the ultimate. Xerath does a ridiculous amount of damage now. It just feels like Xerath just got plus 30% damage or something on the last patch and is now just absolutely terrorizing all of my games and everything. I want to see how Fire Mana sort of executes on this champion, because I believe we saw some Xerath earlier on in this season. Can't remember exactly from who. Wouldn't be surprised if it did come from the hands of Jakunk as well, but Xerath versus Vex, definitely going to be going for these artillery mage styles, going for as long range as possible. I think the main goal of both of them is to stay as far away from the respective AD carries as possible.
I would agree with that. Xerath, yeah, I mean, ever since the last chapter got changed to 1100 gold, he's felt a lot better, and then, like you said, the mini little ult thing. He just does a lot of damage. First strike's a broken rune. It is very frustrating to play around. The W is very hard to miss. The Q comes immediately after. Very good. Only thing is, you have to make sure you don't overextend, which isn't too hard if you take mini dematerializer. But Xerath definitely has very obvious flaws in terms of being immobile, and if they are able to kind of get into the back line with Camille, Vex, Sejuani, or Alistar, the team fights are going to break down pretty heavily for BBZ.
Yeah, of course. My main question to ask you at this point is, who has found the winning formula in this draft? Whose draft are you leaning more towards in this one?
Fat Pikachu so hard. I mean, entirely out of draft, Twitch is a terrible pick. To me, I don't care if it's like a Zeri counter in lane. I don't realistically see how that would even happen if you're playing Zeri properly. Like, you just give some CS maybe. He initiates, you just back up. I don't think Twitch is in a great spot. Braum is fine. Not really sure. I don't know what you're blocking. Maybe Vexel. But we'll see how it goes. I'm putting my points on my 800 points on Fat Pikachu this game.
And we'll see if Fat Pikachu can execute on that as we get ourselves onto the Rift for game number 2. Blue Bayous were able to strike first in the game number 1, despite their best efforts to prevent themselves from winning that game. But as well, Fat Pikachu looking to come back with a vengeance here. Jakunk back in the lineup. This is a massive change, I want to say, in favor of Fat Pikachu. They looked really good when they had this combination of Jakunk, Blackpink Trash working well together. I'd assume calling some of those shots as well. Now you've sort of got this winning formula back in your favor in terms of the players. Of course, BBZ going to go for a 5-man stack. Of course, they're going to look for an invade. And especially when you've got someone like a Twitch who can hide in the stealth, potentially look for a play. You're going to look for something at this level 1. Unfortunately, no dice.
So, I don't know. This is... I mean, they're pretty magic damage heavy as well on terms of BBZ. I genuinely doubt Twitch is going to go AD. I mean, the Doran's Ring doesn't give anything away necessarily, but they're going to have a triple AP, essentially, with exclusively Fiora for the AD damage, so you can pretty well just itemize and then build Anatheamos chains if you need to. But I would like to see 4 Merc Treads, Hex Drinkers, all that good stuff, and they should have a good time.
Yeah, something to note usually about Twitch is the rune will decide whether it's AD or AP, and I believe that with the lethal tempo, you are leaning more towards that AD style. Of course, could very well be something completely off the wall. We saw Red's build last game. Sure, it can be the correct build, but it can also be a little bit wacky in that sense, as well as a little bit of damage being taken off by Red early on in this one. You've always got to keep an eye on where the Twitch wants to hide. Keep your options open as to not trip any sensors in Blackpink Trash or Raptor's brain that you might be hiding around the corner.
Yeah, it'll be. I was trying to see if Rad IRL had done something recently with.
That's what I was going to think as well.
I know he runs lethal on AP sometimes, but let's see. This is getting a little.
Oh my goodness,
interesting.
It's getting dicey on this bottom side of the map. Lots of hostility being traded between these two. Raptor getting the worst of it. It's going to be a nice little poison stack up. No summoners burned on the side of Fat Pikachu. However, Jacob Dudar did expend the exhaust, but Raptor are going to be chugging some of those potions, get back up to an okay amount of health as well with that level up. But nonetheless, we'll have to find out if Red is a student of the Rat or if they're simply doing whatever they want. I don't know. Red will build whatever.
Going for the cheese. You can't walk up to Brown level 1. that was the big oops that was made.
Yeah.
Level 2, no problem. Just they'll be on the way. They are going for an early back, which is nice. Always feels good to do that. And Fireman is getting a little out-traded, but Xerath has no items yet, so here's what no first strike. I like first strike a lot, honestly, on Xerath. I think it's a lot better than Comet.
Yeah, I think that especially with Fireman, having a rather strong performance last game on the Nico, you can trust them to sort of hold their own in this mid lane as much as possible. Fireman is just going to want to dish out as much damage as possible. Jakun can sit back, farm up as well, but already you can tell there's just a little bit of difference in respect as well. Fireman having to play a lot farther back versus Jakunk might be matchup dependent in that sense, but nonetheless, Jakunk is here to play. And Fireman forced to flash out Kenny Train with a nice little appearance there, burns the flash, preventing Fireman from having that extra escape tool for a little while longer. Of course, Raptor needs to be careful. Still has that flash available. It's a flash forward from Dax. He's going to be trying to knock him back. Oh my goodness, Dax gets knocked into the tower as well. That becomes a 1-for-1. Great play from Raptor to recover. And now Kenny Train here on this bottom side. Red taking 2 shots there. Already has burned that cleanse. One more auto attack will put them into the frozen chamber there for just a little bit. Jacob Dudar actually going to be taken down instead. Blackpink Trash off to the races with a couple of kills in this early stage. Red is left to run back to the tower. I have to think about what just happened on that bottom side. Great response from Kenny Train.
Really good play from Repterra. Held exhaust still, which I guess doesn't really matter. Good to knock Dax into tower. Blackpink Trash again has the ideal kill allocation on your team with Azeri, and also has double buffs. So things aren't looking too bad. Top lane is pretty even, all things considered. Stormbless is getting very good trades in, and mid lane is even, but it seems like John Cook is kind of controlling the lane a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if that changes with the boots purchase, because Xerath has like what 325 base move speed.
Wait a sec. What if Jakunk and Blackpink Trash are like trying to coordinate names or something instead of it being like Jungkook, like from BTS? It's just Jakunk, and then you got someone hating on K-pop on the opposite side.
There's a chance, you know, the opposite coordination could always kind of even itself out. You know, one person loves possibly K-pop, one person hates it, but you both love League of Legends like all of us do so much.
Yeah, all of us love League of Legends so much, just as much as Fireman is enjoying the damage that they're taking from Jakunk as well. Good start, honestly, coming through. You can see the difference in confidence it feels like coming through from even Kenny Train, ganking twice very early on, burning that flash on the mid lane, coming down for a great counter gank onto the bottom lane, finding a kill into Jacob Dudar, and now Fat Pikachu have themselves a nice little lead for themselves. They eked themselves out just a bit of an early game lead that will lead to Dragon, and it could potentially lead to a snowball from there. But of course, if last game is anything to say about what this series may hold, I'm not going to put any sort of predictions on this early game, because we might just end about 40 minutes and it being a complete coin toss.
Yep, I am no longer going to say which team has tempo until I have decided I can see who's hitting the Nexus the most. So it is AD Twitch this game, unless there's no way it's going to be a Nash or Rush. So yeah, it's AD Twitch, right? No way it's Nash or Rush. Whatever. Mountain Soul or Mountain Dragon super good to pick up. Infernal Dragon would be super good to pick up. Those are some great early ones to grab if you are able to, with the bot kind of just pushing. A lot better than like a Wind or something. A lot of early power stacked into those.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the control that this bottom lane has already had for themselves, they're going to be thirsty for any sort of extra action that they can find for themselves, looking to pony as much gold into Blackpink Trash as they possibly can. But nonetheless, slowing down once again here after that early excursion through the mid and bot lane from Kenny Train to find those summoners, extra kills and everything. But at the same time, Dax has kept that jungle pacing up for themselves a little bit more, up a couple of camps, going to try and keep pace with what Kenny Train has outputted for themselves. What that means is that that gold lead that we were talking about very briefly has now been equalized out, a lot of that due to Red finally getting some more farm back in their favor. But now Jaffe, in a world of hurt, throws down the grand challenge onto Kenny Train, but unfortunately Jaffe will not be able to get out of that one. An arrangement between the jungler and top lane ends up leading to a death, but now here comes the Fireman coming up here. Kenny Train, no flash, no way to get out of that one. It's another 1-for-1 trade between these two teams.
Good roam from Xerath. Should have probably been aware of that on Fat Pikachu's side. Just walked up towards your camps that are up on your top side. Would have been good. I do like that Kenny's taking a more proactive approach to this early game compared to the previous game.
But now some more action on this bottom side of the map. It's going to be Blackpink Trash going Super Saiyan, looking to try and find that extra damage. Jacob Dude are forced to expend the exhaust as well on the bottom side. And actually, the Spray and Pray going to be invested on the side of red as well. 3 summoner spells expended to survive that exchange as Raptor traded that back with the exhaust. But Fat Pikachu, they feel as if they're in their comfort zone, and at a certain point, we'll have to ponder whether leaving the Zeri up is a good option, regardless of result. Kenny Train, though, coming into that mid lane, Fireman, and no way you're going to survive that one. Jakunk gets on the board. Fat Pikachu continuing to stretch their wings in this game number 2.
I like the proactiveness. I really do. Last game, Dax was doing essentially this in every single lane, and it's got to be. It's definitely a little demoralizing when you just kind of hear an ally has been slain 5 times in like 9 minutes. So it's good to see the flip around. I would say that bot lane is going to be a little unplayable for a little bit with no sums on Twitch. You want to crash it, reset. They're going to be able to get zoned off a lot of CS. You could realistically probably even bring down Vex and Sejuani, go for a dive. I think that's probably the best play to go for on the reset. Have Twitch miss out on more XP, and it would be good. And it's free. No sums.
Yeah, and I think that the major factor behind this lead is that Kenny Train has been the manufacturer of a lot of these plays to happen, whether it be burning summoner spells or actually finishing off those ganks. And Blackpink Trash has been the beneficiary of this, now having a 23 CS lead. Very strong here on the Zeri already, who, of note, started Cull, basically started by saying, I'm giving up this early game, and yet still has this lead moving forward into the later stages of this one, despite Red being more of a senior member in the FOF community. Blackpink Trash saying, listen, just because you've been here a while doesn't mean you're given a free trophy. If you want to figure out more about senior members of FOF and not winning trophies, you can always ask Art of War Esports about that one. Nonetheless,
ult from Red.
Yeah, the ult expended from Red, and now stopwatch from Raptor here. It's now a 3v3 on the bottom side of the map. Glacial Fissure going to land, and now Raptor in a lot of trouble, but that Unbreakable will make him so tanky to deal with. Here comes the shots from the Xerath, as well as Champion Red now collecting one onto Raptor, but Blackpink Trash is ramping up the damage here, looking for even more. Jakunka's coming. Great Fear going to land onto multiple members. Can the Shadow Surge find more targets? No! As Jacob Dudar, in fact, going to be able to collect a kill back on to the Zeri. Jakunk going to find another one. Can you find more Shadow Surges? Jakunk now going under the tower, taking so much damage, has overstepped, but it's still a triple kill for the mid laner for Fat Pikachu. Massive trades on the bottom side of the map, leads to a 3 for 3, but that's 3 kills going into Jakunk's pocket. That's the mythic complete already.
Man, that was weird. On the bright side for BBZ, Xerath and Twitch got some gold allocation. On the not so bright side, Vex got a trillion gold as well. I think they would have won that fight very handily if Twitch had ultimate up for the fight. I don't know what happened with the wave being cleared, but it was weird. Overall, I would say that was mildly better for Fat Pikachu, just because you have a 4-1 Vex now. But overall, I don't think it really mattered too much either way for either team.
Yeah, it was excitement for us. You know what? The viewers, the experience of this stream was improved by that play. Whether it helps these teams or not is once again yet to be determined. If Jakunk all of a sudden starts popping off with all of this extra gold that has been infused into their pockets, we'll have to see how that transpires. But of course, now already on this bottom side of the map again, Shadow Surge about to be coming up off of cooldown as well. Here it comes into the backline. Red is taking so much damage. Red is removed from play. The teleport from Fireman is a little bit too late. Jakunk potentially looking to go back in, has marked up Dax. This time says, nah, the tower's got hands. I ain't fighting that one. Jakunk once again roams down, and it's another kill in Blackpink Trash's favor. The tracing of this pathing, the trace down to the bottom side, has been excellent from them. And now BBZ down with the sickness on this bot lane. This Twitch may be spreading illness everywhere. At the end of the day, it is not leading to much, as the second dragon now potentially in favor of Fat Pikachu.
Yeah, Fat Pikachu is just moving faster. Like, the plays are the same for both teams several times in a row. Fat Pikachu is just there first, and it gives them the edge. Also, Jakunk is landing very, very, very useful ultimates on a very
Oh, yes.
sad rat.
Yeah, meanwhile,
It's
this
got
Rift
a
Herald
switch.
play is starting to go south as well. Stormblast going to engage onto Jaffe, find a kill for themselves as well. This tree may be falling soon. Dax forced a flash over the wall before. We're yelling timber for that one, but Jakunk instead knocks down Fireman. I'm going to get a quick instant replay of that one. Jakunk basically just throws a skill shot out. Yeah, Raptera shows up, and Jakunk says, hey, I'll take this free kill for myself as well. Fireman has no chance.
Reptare should have lasted it. He deserves it.
Yeah. Raptors the homie. You know what?
Yeah,
Saying, listen,
exactly.
I know what this team needs, and it's more gold into the carries. Dax, though, in a world of hurt as well, getting chased down. Stormblast, no walls to latch onto, so unfortunately the tree will stand once again. But nonetheless, Fat Pikachu have come out with a more exhilarating performance here in this early game, and now carry themselves quite handily with this 2,000 gold lead. Granted, that Rift Trail did go the opposite way. Dax has that in the inventory. If they're able to drop it, they're not going to get plates off of it at the very least, but they will be able to collect some sort of gold somewhere on the map at some point in time to potentially turn that back in their favor.
I think you send it bot again. You just got to keep sending a bot until something different happens. At this point, you can't go top. If it's matched, you die. You can't go mid because Vex is little spooky right now. You gotta just get lucky with a catch bot. Hope have Xerath come down like somewhere safe and ult. It's hard for Xerath to ult with Vex, to be honest.
Yeah, but at the same time, we look at where these kills have been allocated. This is something of high importance. Kenny Train hasn't found a kill for themselves, which is perfect. You don't want your Sejuani to be getting the kills, but they've set up 8 out of the 10 thus far. Raptera as well, despite what we might jest about in terms of, yeah, you know, he deserved it. He set that kill up. Still, providing that kill over to Jakunk. All of these kills are on the carries for Fat Pikachu. Their gold allocation has been excellent thus far. And now we have to see what these players can do with it. Stormblast, not usually the recipient of a lot of that gold, will instead look to be a performer on this Camille. And oh my goodness, Jaffe is in a world of hurt once again in the Hextech ultimatum. Throw down the gauntlet. Kenny Train finds one of their own. Now in this mid lane, Fireman is stuck under the tower. The stopwatch will not save you, my friend. That is going to be Jakunk finding another one for themselves. 6 kills on the board. Welcome back to FOF, my friend Jakunk. That's going to be a huge pickup for Fat Pikachu. Once again, taking away a lot of BBZ's pressure.
More importantly, Jakunk also hit the last 2 minions in his while he was waiting for stasis to be done. Just pure efficiency coming out. Ooh, by Twitch.
And now on this bottom side, more efficiency coming down. Raptera finds the headbutt pulverized combination onto red, forces both flashes out. Blackpink Trash did burn the cleanse to get away from that one. Once again, exchange of summoner spells, but Blackpink Trash holds on to that flash. Very important to keep that Zeri as safe as possible. But now Dax on his motorcycle going up to that top side of the map, looking to find Stormbless, and nothing happens because the Camille just walks away.
I don't know. I think he could have. I think if he queued one more time, Stormbless might have died there. Maybe a misplay, but not too bad. Dax is. I mean, what? He's up in farm. They are down a lot of gold for 16 minutes, though. They have a CS deficit essentially everywhere. There is a lot of gold allocated 100% to, like you said, the correct champions, which is always unfortunate if you're the enemy team. They just got to continue to be proactive and push their lead.
Yes, and they've been proactive thus far. I mean, objective bounties now in BBZ's favor, but this tower now under siege, under lockdown, will be another one picked up. 4,000 gold in the lead for the side of Fat Pikachu. That may be turned around with this Rift Herald play. No one's actually there to answer it, but Stormbless taking the fight to Jaffe on this top side of the map. Nice little kick. Not quite going to find too much damage with a nice riposte, but at the very least, BBZ are still looking for any sort of avenues back into that game, whether that be through finding this mid lane tower and collecting an objective bounty, or potentially finding a bounty onto Stormbless. That will be determined shortly. The crowd control chain is too much as Jaffe finds a shutdown. Stormbless is Stormblessed to be looking at the gray screen at that point. They didn't want to deal with any more damage from that.
Can they get 2 objective bounty towers? That would be very big for them. That was a good play. They're going to give 3rd dragon, though. Which, I mean, they can't fight it. This is the best play they can go for.
Yeah, and it looks as if they will potentially get the second tower, especially with the fact that Dax is still shadowing on this top side of the map. Jakunka can't really answer that. So once again, as you mentioned, the objective bounties, two of them are going to be going over to the side of BBZ. Bring this game a little bit closer together. 1,700 gold separating these two teams now. The hill onto Stormbless plus those two towers cuts that gold lead in half. But now, of course, look down towards this bottom side of the map, and it's a third dragon in favor of Fat Pikachu on Soul Point already, looking to prevent the recreation of the previous game where we got 7 dragons, and Soul really didn't matter because it was a Cloud Soul.
Yeah, this is a rough Soul to be on Soul Point down when you're down gold this early. Kimtech is pretty broken, to be honest. Honestly, every dragon they rolled is pretty ideal for their entire situation.
It's quite good.
It's really good. So what they have to do is just wait for 4 minutes, maybe get a catch, farm up, make sure you're in a good position, and then fight on the dragon, get the soul. You can get Baron right after if you win the fight, and you can get, if your lanes are pushing 2 towers. That would be good for them. They're gonna lose that third objective bounty.
Yeah, this is... You know what? This is Riot doing the Riot thing where sometimes they just forget to turn off the objective bounties. Granted, it is 3 dragons to 0, but it will be a third tower picked up there, which would even up this gold. Interesting situation that the bounties have not fallen off. There they go. See you later, objective bounties. Right in time for this Rift Herald to spawn. Ideally, once again, not going to be giving over another objective bounty in that sense is Fat Pikachu. So all 5 members up on this top side of the map, preventing the side of BBZ from having a chance at getting into this one. Granted, Dax is in the area. Will just opt to clear out the ward instead. So second Rift Herald goes to the side of Fat Pikachu. Now potentially looking to march down some of these turrets with that additional help from Shelly. And with Dragon as well, spawning in 3 minutes. That sole Dragon for themselves. They could hold on to this and just use that for additional pressure. Lots of potential plays for Fat Pikachu to be making.
I don't like how Fat Pikachu played out the last few... I mean, it's good they got the Dragon, they got Herald, but I don't think they were in a position where they necessarily had... 1 tower mid with the Herald, yeah. The top pick as well was a little unfortunate. Good play out of BBZ. I don't think they should have lost 3 towers uncontested, essentially. I mean, and it completely put BBZ back in the game. The goal difference is only 900 now, and it was about 3,000 with. And I mean, there's been no kills traded since then, essentially. So I mean, the game's pretty much back to even minus the stats that the Dragons give.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of that gold lead at this point, it just comes down to the fact that there's a CS lead on the bottom side of the map. And honestly, if we were to hover the difference between Red and Blackpink Trash at this point, wouldn't be surprised to see something in that realm. Of course, Red was the beneficiary of at least one of those objective bounties for themselves, and now picks up a red buff for themselves. So Red is now ready to... That's too many reds in one sentence. Fireman is in trouble, though. Jakun going to be going in. Great fear, great combo. That's 7 on the board for the Vex. Jakunk is back with a vengeance here. Slamming the Xerath right into the pole, saying, yeah, give me your lunch money. I'm taking this one for themselves. Jakunk's had a fantastic performance thus far.
So is Kenny. I mean, they just... Mid-jungle is the most important kind of, like, synergy in a team. Bot support is obviously important, but mid-jungle is definitely... I'm going to shut up before this happens.
Yeah, oh my goodness, big fight coming down. Red just not able to do anything with Raptor on that backline. Look at the crowd control here coming through from the 2 beefcakes, and it's going to be Kenny Train collecting up Champion Red. Here comes Blackpink Trash coming through, preventing the side of BBZ from getting a moment to rest. Never mind, it's actually Jaffe who's going to find one in return on to Jakunk. A 900 gold shutdown going the opposite way as Jaffe will dash out to safety. It's a 2-for-1, but a big kill picked up on the opposite side by the Fiora. And while Baron is an option on the table, with a minute left until they're sold, they may just opt to set up for that after a quick little pit stop at this tier 2. Lots of damage coming through from the living artillery. It's actually going to be Fireman finding another one onto Raptor. So a 2-for-2. BBC are pretty happy with that one. Despite themselves losing 2 towers, they get a pretty big shutdown in return onto Jaffe.
Wasn't bad at all, for sure. The Blackpink, or not Blackpink, I guess Blackpink did play that fight super well, but Fat Pikachu in general played this fight super well. Twitch, like, this is the problem you have when you pick Twitch, right? Especially with the champions they have. It's hard to... You have to wait, essentially, until the team fight's partially over. to go do anything. And you need to have your summoners. Ideally, you have Ghost. You can't really... Cleanse is good this game for a lot of reasons, but you are a very slow, very squishy champion that needs a few items to do damage. And when people get on top of you, it's not too fun.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of this comes down to the inability for Red to survive in a lot of these fights because there's Kenny
It's just
Train,
hard.
Raptor jumping on top. The front line is a little bit too much to deal with, and when you only have the Bork and the Runons, you don't have that extra little pop that you need. What that will come from is yet to be determined. Potentially the Guinsoo's that is on the, I would assume, is on the way at some point. But it's just the lack of damage that can come through from your Twitch right now. You're basically playing with 4.5 members in some of these team fights. Granted, given enough time, given the opportunity to do so, we will see this Twitch start to open DPS onto everyone, and that is when Fat Pikachu need to be cautious. Granted, they are going at this with reckless abandon for the time being. Maokai going to come down, launches on to 3. Here comes Red. This is the opportunity that he needed this entire game. He's looking to deal the damage. He's opening up onto everyone. It's a shutdown picked up onto Blackpink Trash. Goes over to Jacob Dudar, but that's still a pivotal member off the board. Kenny Train looking to lurk around the back end of this one. Jaffe has spotted him out, and now you just have to give that over. Grand Challenge was issued, and Kenny Train might still be in trouble here. Great Little Repose going to come down. Kenny Train trying to answer back, but here comes Jakuk over the wall. Jaffe has overstepped, and Stormblast will shut him down. Dragon goes to the side of BBZ, but it's the extra kill going the opposite way as Jakuk and Stormblast link up for another one.
Really good fight out of BBZ. Good pick up on the back end, but overall, BBZ played the fight the way they were supposed to. Their immobile carries waited until the fight had kind of awkwardly broken out. Camille was in a bad spot, got caught. 2 team members kind of went up to the right and started using their abilities. Allowed Twitch to actually auto-attack for once, which must have felt very nice. And Zerath got off his entire ult, along with a lot of combos, and he had to blow a flash. So I guess that's the potential of their team, right?
Oh, but Raptor trying to just walk up to ward ends up being taken down. No abilities left up to throw out as Dax now going into that backline. He might have overstepped at this point as well as Blackpink Trash is still here dishing out the damage. Jacob Dudar will throw out a Winter's Bite to prevent the rest of that damage from coming down. But here comes Stormblast. Great stun coming down to prevent the rest of that play from erupting. 4v4 on the map, and yet they just seem to be teasing each other slowly but surely, poking and prodding, seeing what sort of opportunities they have for themselves.
It is getting very tense again, this game. It seemed like there was a foregone...
Oh, man. Never mind. Red is removed from play. Jakunk has found another one, but now left up the river without a paddle. Jakunk will be taken down. Is traded back immediately, though, as Firemana isn't able to dish out enough in return. Blackpink Trash has collected another kill for themselves. Jacob Dudar now might be on the agenda. Blackpink Trash going over the wall. Jacob Dudar is sequestered. No home. He's going to be sent back to the Blue Bayou with no zoo involved. Blackpink Trash just finds another one for themselves. And all of a sudden, this area's a factor again. A major factor at that.
Jakunk's nuts. That was gross.
Oh my goodness. And they just keep fighting one after one to go in. Dax now the next one potentially being taken down. Nice little knockback to prevent Kenny Train from getting much more room. A lot of that comes down to Stormblast starting that fight with 40% health, but nonetheless, it is multiple picks in a row for the side of Fat Pikachu. They ponder the Baron for a brief moment. They will just reset instead, take advantage of the gold they picked up. And look at this, double teleport now forced out from Jaffe and Firebandit since they didn't see anyone on the Baron.
They wait. I'm glad they recognized they waited too long. They definitely could have done the Baron instead of chasing Dax. I'm glad that they did not walk over to it afterwards and recognize that their window for opportunity was down. However, that is a double teleport, like you said. It's going to be very, very difficult to make cross-map plays at this point for the next 3.5 minutes, right? That's how long TP is? Ish?
Yes. Well, 4 minutes at this point. It's unleashed, unlocked, or whatever they want to call it at that point. Nonetheless, you will be able to use that again for the next fight, but of note, it won't be up for Dragon, and that's going to be a big one because Soul still on the agenda for the side of Fat Pikachu. They want to beef themselves up just a little bit more. Fat Pikachu have had enough of sitting on top of Mount Silver. They want to fight back against Champion Red, and this game for sure, they have done that in spades. Just depends on how the rest of this game goes, because as both of us mentioned multiple times already, Considering last game, I don't trust any of these teams with a lead.
No, definitely not. For the Dragon, I think if they don't fight here, I think BBZ should pressure the Baron and make Fat Pikachu decide whether or not they want to fight, like get forced into a fight where they have Maokai Sapling set up, or if they just go for the soul and give Baron. I think that's their best bet for a play that goes in their favor in the next minute. So we'll see.
Yeah, and of course, might be looking for a lease on life with this Dragon Soul coming through. If this does go over to Fat Pikachu, it's not going to be looking too good for the rest of this game. Of course, something to always note. Souls are permanent. You get that for the entire game. Of note, though, I want a refund on this Baron to Fat Pikachu, as they're forced to burn. Well, not really forced to burn anything. Jakunk was already on that top side. It was just a little bit of a prod to see if they could go for that one. Nonetheless, nothing doing. Just a little bit of damage dealt. Stormbless has been begging to take this tower. Will not be able to do so quite yet.
Stormblessed does have the teleport. Okay, so they're all just going to circle around Dragon, so it doesn't matter. Very good that they did not try to force a Baron because they would have all died. That tower has been on like 100 health for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Fire Mana, though, forced to flash. Rapterror flashes as well to dodge away from the stun, but now Rapterror on the wrong side of... Whoa! Gets out of that one with a great Blast Plant usage. But now, Stormblast in the front line, in so much trouble. But Jakuk on the back side of this one. It's a shutdown picked up by Fire Mana. Blackpink Trash, though, has opened up on the back line as well. All of a sudden, this fight is getting scattered across the map here. It's huge damage dealt onto Jakuk. Blackpink Trash now forced to go over the wall as well. Jaffe flashes over, and so much for that lead that you had. Fat Pikachu, 3 kills picked up by the side of BBZ. You get the bot lane tier 2, but at what cost? You're not getting your soul. Once again, 5 minutes added onto the timer, and this game is tied back up in gold.
It's so awkward to fight in a non-open area against BBZ's team comp. Xerath did like 1 trillion damage that fight. Maokai rooted everybody kind of just in a straight line for it as well. You have the Braum knockup. You have Fiora kind of just running amok. You got to fight a little more in the open if you want to have a chance at winning the team fight. Unless you can murder Xerath before Zanyas goes off and get Twitch at the same time. He does have a wits in. Baron flip. Baron flip.
Yeah, now it just comes down to this Baron. The side of Fat Pikachu are bearing down on this objective at the same time. Teleport now expended from Jakunk. 3.5 items on the Vex. Can you find a key target? Yes, that's one of them! Fire Mana, take it off the table. Red, now caught in the Hextech ultimatum. You must do or die here, and instead the rat will die. Stormblast finds another one, but look at the turnaround here. Jaffe dealing so much damage, given the time and space to do so. Rapterror is limping away with a sliver of health. Dax goes into the backline. Blackpink Trash is still dishing out the damage. Going Super Saiyan now, needs to try and find some more damage in this fight. Blackpink Trash starting to run out of options. The front line is evaporating, and Blackpink Trash is on the run. Jaffe looking to chase this one down, but did Jaffe chase too far? Blackpink Trash able to shut down Jaffe once again, and now still looking to deal damage here, dashing back over the wall. Can you find another slow? Can you find more damage? Dax in trouble, needs to be careful of this one. Blackpink Trash is looking for that last little bit of damage, is just getting teased by both of them on each side of it, and it seems as if everyone will back off. Blackpink Trash doesn't want to risk their life for it, but the Baron is stopped once again, thwarted at the final hour. These teams delivering on every single level possible. Who would have thought this would have been 3 versus 6?
This is so close. Everything is like just like inch away from being perfect for one of the two teams, and they all kind of like just like four of them die each time and one lives each time. I would say the BBZ has been looking better for the past 10 minutes though. If the dragon stacking continues, it better not be 7 dragons again, guys.
If it's 7 dragons again, I will have words with our producer, because there's somewhere in the script where they're like, yeah, you know what if we just made every single game really long and made 7 dragons show up? It's just, you know what, it's part of the script, right? Yubi has won how many times in a row? You know, that's part of the script as well, apparently. This time around, might not be afforded that opportunity. Rapterror will have to fight for their life. Rapterror's out of there. Great stuff with the Unbreakable Will. That's a lot of damage reduction that you can get off of that. And now Teleport's coming in. It's a 5v5 dance around this Baron. Fat Pikachu say, I want nothing to do with it. They're going to back off for the time being. BBZ will take this opportunity to start doing damage to it, though, and this is where things get a little bit dicey. The dance around this Baron continues. Jakunk trying to dish out damage over the wall, but Baron already down to 8k HP.
This
Maybe the Nature's
could
Grass
be
landing
good.
onto Jakunk instead. Stormblast, though, in this front line is not a tank. You got to be careful about that one. Dax going on a rampage. Now Raptor, no ultimate, will be taken down. Red finally dishing out the damage for themselves as Blackpink trash skates around the side. But at half HP, you can't commit to the fight quite yet. And this is another opportunity for BBZ to pick themselves up a Baron. Canny Trains, though, still full health, still alive. Jakunk dishing out damage over the wall, looking to find what they can. Baron down to 5k HP. Damage still comes down. Jacob Dudar taking a lot of it. It's over the wall. Dax going to be able to secure that one up now. Canny Train stuck between a rock and a hard place. The rest of BBZ Baron down on him once again. And Red going to collect another kill for themselves. Somehow, some way, BBZ have found themselves back into a lead. 2,000 gold up. Fat Pikachu. That was not a fight you wanted to take.
Yeah, things are just very awkward. Camille is unfortunately catching kind of the brunt of everything in the past few fights. Definitely not tanky enough to survive all of that. Probably needs to be looking for a side angle versus a frontline sort of angle. Sejuani Alistar can just stand in the front. Camille can look for a hook shot behind, force a flash out of Twitch or something, disrupt the fight. If the front lining continues, it will. The fight results are going to end up being the same.
You need your Alistar ult to be able to survive a lot of this burst because there's so much damage being dished out. And Raptor forced to burn that and the flash right away before you're even able to start a fight. It is a defensive maneuver from Raptor, who now doesn't have that flash available to find an aggressive combo in the future, who doesn't have that ultimate for another minute to be that frontliner that you need. And look at this, the dragon spawning in 15 seconds. You are in deep trouble if you're the side of Fat Pikachu and you want to get this soul, because it's not happening on this one, especially with the current state of your ultimates.
I think you just give this dragon, try to push mid as fast as you can, get an inhib, and then run straight up. Do not fight this dragon. Just give the third dragon. Get yourselves kind of recomposed. Let Alistar have his ult back up.
And I mean, yet they're still
there's no
poking and prodding at this. Stormblast has taken so much damage to begin with. Kenny Train's trying to go over the wall, but the dragon's already gone. Stormblast has no health to fight this one. It's just burning down at the same time. And Raptor, without the ultimate, is removed from play. Kenny Train has been issued a grand challenge, but unfortunately for Fiora, she says, "Vous pouvez pas entrer ici," as they get taken down on the side as well. It's a double kill picked up on the side. Jakunk now going golden. It's a triple kill for Fire Mana. Blue Bayou Zoo complete the comeback. Only Blackpink Trash remains to try and survive this one. Baron's still alive for another 45 seconds. I don't know if this is the game
they
quite
don't have
yet.
a wave. Never mind.
There's no waves. There's no waves. This still continues on as BBZ just going to fulfill the prophecy. Just make it 40 minutes again. Just do it already at this one. My God.
There's no reason to fight that dragon. Very, very, very good plays out of BBZ. But Fat Pikachu again is they have their leads and then they make confusing decisions, and the trend is kind of continuing. But you know what? Maybe BBZ makes a confusing decision this time.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it. Maybe not the last either. But nonetheless, with this Baron, they're going to collect 2 inhibitors for themselves at the very least. Respawn timers are starting to come back up. It's a Nature's Grass to throw that down, make sure that they can't be engaged on, and everyone will find the resets here. What was a Fat Pikachu lead for 30 minutes of this game has now transformed back into a 6,000 gold lead for Blue Bayou Zoo. I guess you must have something in the zoo there that resembles a Pikachu, because they've had their number for a decent part of the series at this point.
There's got to be an animal that like kind of resembles Pikachu. I've seen dogs.
Pikachu's a rat, right?
Like Pikachu.
Pikachu is a rat after all.
I don't like thinking about that. You know, like Pikachu shouldn't be a rat.
Okay, Pikachu's a mouse. We'll use the government name, I guess, of that one. Twitch is a rat. We can distinguish the difference between a Pikachu and whatever the heck Twitch is. That's the distinction we need. But the rat of note, sitting on 4 items, all of a sudden Red does damage.
Yeah. Team fights are still really hard. I think he figured out how to stand in the right spot. It's just hard. I mean, it's not his fault. It's just hard, right? Like we've been talking about. There's a lot of people that could very easily try to murder Twitch, and Twitch is not a tanky champion. So you just gotta go invis, you gotta wait, team fight half done, pop your ult, walk, run around, have fun. And he has been doing that, and it has been showing the past few fights.
Yeah, and I mean, currently getting a hover on the Trinity Force. Decent damage being dealt by Stormblessed with that item.
I kind of feel is any top laners in chat know if Sunder is a better item on Camille than Triforce.
There might be stats behind it,
I
one
feel
way
like
or
Drew,
the other.
I feel like Drew Toot. I'm basing my league knowledge off 2 YouTubers. I feel like he builds Sunder. I don't know though. Maybe I'm wrong.
It could be dependent on matchup, but of course, being able to cut through decks might be something you need at this point. LDR once again complete on Blackpink Trash, though. That might be all the tools you need given the correct opportunities. Once again, though, Baron spawning in 45 seconds, a minute and a half approximately away from Seoul for either one of these teams. Thank you very much, scriptwriters. It's another 7-dragon game. Who'd have thunk that would happen once again? Jaffe, though, continuing to just be a menace now with that Hullbreaker. 4 completed items on the Fiora. There's 3 guarantees in the FOF lifestyle. Death Taxes and Jaffe being a split push menace in one way or another. Of course, given the signature Fiora from so many years, he has a lot of signature champions at this point. Gangplank.
It's like he paid someone at Riot. He's like, I want to split push even more. And like, we got you. And they made Hullbreaker. And then the game's been like so much less fun since the inclusion of that item.
Are you blaming Jaffe for the rise in split push adventures in the FOF scene?
In general, in my solo queue game, it's Jaffe's fault. In pro play, it's Jaffe's fault. Look at this.
Jaffe is man of large influence, so to speak, as he's pulling multiple members down. Kenny Train and Stormblessed both trying to chase down Jaffe. And Jaffe says, you know what? Let's do this again. I'm down to fight. Let's look for it. Jaffe needs one more vital onto Stormblessed, who's forced to flash away. Jaffe, though, buying so much time, dodging away from absolutely everything. Gets over the wall as well. Will you go back over another time? Yes, you will, but you're into the face of Blackpink Trash. But is that enough? Jaffe still on the run.
The game is being
I
ended.
swear to everything that is good and holy in this world, Jaffe, how the hell did you get away with that one?
Hullbreaker. That was really clean. That was a lot of time wasted, and he only lost like half of his health. And now,
next turret number 1 is taken off the table. Jakunk already down to half HP. Jaffe still chasing someone down. What is going on in this one? Kenny Train, you are not allowed to be. Another ultimate, by the way. There you go, Jaffe. Why don't you have 2 of them in the fight? This is an arena. You're not supposed to ult twice in a fight. Jakunk now trying to dodge away. Has to go golden against that last shot. And Blue Bayou Zoo, once again, 40 minutes hit. They say, okay, we can end the game now. This will be game number 2 going to BBZ. They are on series point. And Fat Pikachu, man, what happened?
Fire, they just fought in choke points continuously for 15 minutes. And Fire Mana and Twitch like to auto attack people that are in a straight line. Jaffe also got a lot of shutdown gold in the fights, and like, I mean, specifically one dragon fight, Cute on Sejuani got 800 gold. Like, it's just I think it all began with the objective bounty fiasco. It went downhill from there. But you know what? There's possibly 3 more games to be played. Don't want to leak the script, but stay tuned.
And honestly, after what felt like Fat Pikachu's game to win, with the incredible early game performances coming through from Jakunk, the incredible mid game performance coming through from Jakunk, the incredible performance period coming through from Jakunk, as well as Blackpink Trash providing so much of that extra damage. Great early game coming through from Kenny Train as well. I don't understand how BBZ are able to get away with it once again. They pull it all the way back, and now we have to look at what this means for the mental of Fat Pikachu as well. Their backs are up against the wall. This is their final chance to stake their claim in this league if they want to have any chance of surviving. It will all come down to game number 3 for themselves. They have to win 3 in a row to survive and continue their season, and what is the final FOF season as well. So we'll have to see how they do it. We're going to take a quick break. When we're back, game 3, BBZ versus Fat Pikachu.
Shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up, man.